Welcome to the sixth and final section of Cooking and Baking 101, equipping caregivers to create delicious and nutritious homemade meals. Brought to you by American Way University. As a reminder, my name is Angie Danielski. Please ensure that you have watched sections 1 through 5 before viewing this section. Here is an overview of what the final portion of this presentation will cover. We'll start by taking a look at cooking meat, including another video featuring Krista. Next, the presentation will go over tips for different meal courses, including salads, soup, and dessert. One technique for cooking meat is called braising. When using this method, chunks of meat are coated in flour and spices. This can be whatever type of seasoning you prefer or is needed for a particular dish. For this example, we will be using smaller chunks of meat. Next, the meat is placed on a hot pan that contains either water or oil, just covering the bottom of the pan. The meat should be cooked on each side until all sides are brown. Krista will demonstrate this technique in a short video on the next slide.
Cut the meat into bite-sized pieces, which I have done already. Place about a quarter cup of flour on a plate with some salt and pepper. So I want a place to put the meat after I'm done kind of rubbing it along. And this is called braising the meat. And we're going to be cooking it at a high heat to get to sear the flavor of the in the meat, instead of just throwing the raw piece of meat into the soup.
Yeah.
So
It's a good idea to make sure it's well cooked. Right?
Yeah. Well, and then the soup's going to cook for like at least 2 hours, so it finishes cooking, but at least it gets a nice sear on the outside of it. Mm-hmm. And there's our floured pieces. So it's starting to get bubbly, and I can hear it, and I can see it's steamy. And so I'm going to add my meat now. And you can buy a cheaper beef stew meat that's all diced up already. With this a soup, you're going to get a lot of flavor from the vegetables and the broth. So I could have probably gotten by with a cheaper cut of meat. And I probably should have had the pot a little bit hotter, because when you put the meat in, it should have kind of like sizzled and be steaming, but like trying to go a little bit too fast. Yeah, you can smell the butter. Flour is a thickening agent, and all of these juices in the flour is kind of, can you see like the crumbs it's leaving on the bottom of the pan there? Yeah. That's going to give it some more flavor too. So. Now again, I could have had it just a tad bit hotter, and that's basically all you want to do is just get all the sides browned, get some flavor in there. So then it says to take it out and set it aside.
Here are some quick and easy tips to remember when preparing meals. Salads are generally meant to be light and healthy. Iceberg lettuce, or the round head of lettuce, has no nutritional value, and we should therefore try to use other types of lettuce in the meals that we're preparing for our residents. We should try to use red or green leaf lettuce to help increase the nutritional value of the salad. Lettuce should be torn apart to prevent browning of the edges that are produced when we cut it with a knife. Using a variety of vegetables can help mix up the texture and color. This not only creates an aesthetically pleasing salad and will look interesting, but also will add a variety of different nutrients to the salad. Salad dressing is easy to make and a lot healthier than store-bought salad dressing that can contain a lot of preservatives. When making soup, vegetables can be cooked in the same pan that was just used to braise meat. The leftover from the meat can help add flavor to the vegetables. Fresh or frozen vegetables should be used whenever possible in soup, as opposed to canned vegetables, in order to provide a greater nutritional benefit to residents. The nutrients are cooked out of the vegetables during the canning process, so canned vegetables have less vitamins and minerals that are needed as part of a healthy diet. Frozen vegetables undergo a process called flash freezing, and with this process, no nutrients are lost. Stock or broth paste can be used to help enhance the flavor of a soup. If making a beef soup, we can add beef stock or beef broth paste instead of bouillon cubes to help add flavor. Bouillon cubes have a high sodium or salt content, which can sometimes overpower other flavors in the soup. In addition, high levels of sodium and salt consumption in the diet can lead to health problems such as high blood pressure. Minimizing the sodium or salt content in the foods that we prepare for our residents will be healthier in the long run. Soup will often taste better if prepared the day before and left to sit overnight. For desserts, dry ingredients such as flour can be combined in one bowl, while wet ingredients such as eggs, sugar, and milk are combined in another bowl. Brown sugar can be substituted for granulated sugar, which is the white sugar, as it is simply granulated sugar with molasses added. Cocoa powder may be substituted for baking chocolates in recipes if baking chocolates are not available. When melting chocolate, we should try to add butter to help to prevent the chocolate from burning. Baking chocolate is more bitter than the regular chocolate that we eat. Using chocolate that we would normally stack on, such as a Hershey bar, can alter the taste of a recipe if baking chocolate is called for in the recipe. Also, it is important to remember that if we're using a glass pan to bake, we should bake at a 25-degree lower temperature than the recipe calls for. We should lower the temperature in order to avoid over-baking and causing a drying effect or burning of the dessert. This concludes the American Way University training of Cooking and Baking 101, equipping caregivers to create delicious and nutritious homemade meals. Thank you for your participation. For further training opportunities, please visit our website or call our office. I hope that you have found the information presented very informative.